This is daytime art. I'm working on this painting again, shaping the color, shaping the textures of the color to create the illusion of motion in water. And the image that I am operating out of is that of you are in a vehicle of some kind, speeding crazy ender, welcome. I am working again on this painting. I've been working on it actually all morning, shaping the colors. Welcome. Yeah, so I've been just working on shaping the colors, trying to create motion. Motion. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was not liking where it was when I left it last night. And so I worked, actually I got it before noon, and I've been working on it for like 2 hours, and about 2 hours. Kind of, over here some more. I'm just kind of really erratic, I guess, with what I'm doing with it. Just adding some green tones to the surface, because if I look at this reference photo, there's a lot of green in here. You got that light, the sunlight that's shining through, and if you're tropical, more tropical waters, it'll look a little bit more like this. You got some more. The perspective is completely wrong here, so I need to craft that, craft it a little bit to try to get it to be less less this. I think I can do that by how to change the directionality here. So look at it, and that. I'm just trying to get it to, maybe I'll take this little thing here and I will prop it up just a bit so it's on a, there we go. For some reason I thought I needed to buy some crystals, but I'm just not a crystal kind of guy. My new agey age only standard only goes so far. I'm kind of new agey, but I've always have been, but it only goes so far. Trying to think of some other colors that I need to create here. Actually, I don't actually need to put gray on here. I just need to create the illusion of gray, which that I can do that with just layering the colors on top of one another. So what do I look at? There's like color values here. I think this is like a value, what, over here, Looks like 7 over there on your color scale. Hmm. It's kind of quiet today. Took a long, brisk walk. It's warm out though. Maybe we'll take this color, add it in there. Make the add that over here. Hmm. Different colors in the water. Everything to try to create the illusion of motion. Hmm. Hello, travel siblings. Welcome. Welcome to Imagination Land. I need. This is a gel medium. Liquitex matte medium. It's like an acrylic paint thinner. Just using that. I'm trying to make some colors that I like. That's a nice color. Run it on the surface. Mm. I started this last night, travel siblings. And I continued working it when I woke up this morning. Just adding thin pieces, bits of color. And tonight at the 9 p.m. Painting session, I'm hoping I'm going to have enough of this done so that I could do the foreground. I'm going to put a tree up here, kind of going this way with a bunch of branches and going out. Berkeley, Barkay, welcome. Welcome, Berkay. We are at the sea today, whizzing by on I-909 on the coast of Imagination Land, looking out at a serene scene. That's what we're doing today. adding color into the, what is the sea and trying to create motion. Create motion, the illusion of motion. And so I'm mixing the colors with a gel medium. While trying to maintain my very best Bob Ross voice. Not get too excited about things. Nice light blue. Just some bits and pieces here. So you're an art student in Turkey. Thank you. I am still learning myself. I've never taken an art class before, but I'm trying to teach myself. I study a lot though. I'm just gonna put this thin layer of this blue down here. Thin colors. I have a little sandbar over there. I'm thinking I'm going to kind of work on that a little bit more too. Right now, added some green tones to the water or to the coloration and trying to create just a little bit of an illusion, the illusion of like light and dark spots, motion. I still got to work over here a bit, but I'm not really over there yet. We're over here now. A little bit of optical gray tones coming over here. Most of this is going to get covered up by a very large tree in the foreground. But you want to make sure that your background is well put together too. That the background there stands alone. Making stand-alone images. I think I want to add a little of this green to it here. I'm going to green up that blue, kind of make it more of a teal color, a jadey color. We're just going to be on for like an hour because I want to go back outside and walk before the sun goes down. The doctor told me I need to walk more in order to regulate my blood sugar and my blood pressure. I like that. Kind of got a rippling wave tailing off here. Kind of I'm gonna craft some of that color out there. Doesn't exactly break like that, but I want to have it some wave action here. Movement. So At what level of an art student are you? Are you like taking art in college? Hmm. Are you working with oil paints or acrylics or pastels or pencil? I'm kind of curious to see what mediums and so forth you're working with. I'm gonna put this. This is where like the edge of the water is. Put that in here just a little bit. I wanted to make it look kind of realistic, but I don't know. I find um, water to be the hardest thing to work with, creating the illusion of waves and so forth. Maybe we'll change out to this other brush here for a tad bit of time. Is that a dog barking or is that like some... Yeah, it's a dog. They must be out. They can't hunt with dogs. I'm gonna get these things out of the way. Hmm. Too much water. I'm just gonna put that too much water down here. Kind of stipple. Maybe that's where the edge of the water is. Just gonna let it dry. Dry where it may. Hello again, Mr. Oakley. Welcome. Just kind of working on this thing. Just gonna... I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna breathe deeply here. Have a cup of tea. I didn't bring my teapot in with me. I'm over here now, so maybe we'll come back over there with this other brush. Layer those colors in here. Kind of put them out here, there, over that those reddish tones. Care Bear, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, I'm working on we're in Imagination Land. I'm actually working on Amanda's painting, she was liked, she wanted a painting, and so of a particular design that I had done. And so this is, I'm finally getting around to working on her painting. And so you like the colors? Yeah. It has like a lot of layers of colors on it too. Thin layers of transparent colors. This is I'm going to do two different designs. This is design number one, and then design number two is going to have a lot of light in it. And so design number two is going to be more like this, but with colors like this. It'll be like a real bright sun on the horizon, and have the water and everything just loaded with color. And so, and then here's my North Shore Hawaii photograph that and so this is going to have a tree right in the front. So I'm going to use this tree image here to go right over the front of this thing. And so um, that's kind of the concept. That's the concept anyway. But just a lot of thin layers of color. I'm working over this side now. I need to have a different setup, you know. I need to have a few $1,000s add into my money diet. I'm just going to put that out in the universe. Maybe like the ability to do this show completely from like a desktop computer and to vertical live stream, not on a telephone, but on a camera, so you could do 4K or above live stream. I think that camera is like $3,000 or $4,000. Abstract angel wing. Yeah. Well, you know, this tree is kind of like one angel wing, an angel wing of the. But she was looking at one of these things like it was from Cancun. The this image with the hill over here and the water up front, and then a tree in front, and then kind of like an inlet of Inlet Bay. It reminded her of Cancun, and so that's why she wanted that. And so yeah. And so I'm the magician today. This is when I do a card draw for what this painting was. Well, I just needed to manifest the energy of the magician in order to manipulate the color into something usable, because I really wasn't liking what I came up with last night when I turned the camera off. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think I have something that might work like an angel oracle. It's a tarot deck, but I think it's more of a tarot deck that might work more like an oracle deck. I haven't wasn't quite. You see a face in the clouds. I wasn't quite sure how to use this thing. It's like Dante's Inferno. It's like a tarot based upon Dante's Inferno, and by that this Fabio Listani, who's an Italian comic book artist. Yeah. Anyways, hopefully Milton didn't. Did you get any of the after effects of Milton? Yeah. So, anyways, just gonna move this over here. All these thin layers of color layered on top of one another gives you the energy of yeah, thank goodness. You can go take a look at it from up here. I think it's starting to take shape anyways. The thin layers of color on the foreground. I really like the skyline. And then you got this area over there. It really does look like there's a faraway tree forest going on there. And I need more space. I don't have enough space. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really kind of thinking about um well, I've been thinking about that for a year now, doing another channel. At first, I was thinking this would be the last channel I would ever do, but I have a new channel name picked out already. But it's not gonna, if I launch it, it's not going to launch until April of 2025. And I'm not going to tell you what the name of it is either, but I'm going to try and see if I can organically be found. Sunshine, welcome. Yeah, it's will because I wanted this seems to be going towards just more art, and I wanted to do a channel that was all divination, and so the algorithm doesn't like people doing a variety show. So I'm gonna see when that happens. I'm gonna cease doing a variety show on this channel, and it'll be I'm gonna niche into art and tarot related kind of art. So I think I want to do a coloring book, do a tarot coloring book. And that'll be like a next year thing, not a this year thing. And yeah, yeah, thank you. Welcome. Kitchen, food, and drink. You were here last night, I remember. You were probably one of the 4 people who pushed the subscribe button too. I think it does give effect of like there being motion here. Yeah, I need to do some more over there. Playing cards and turn them into art. Yeah, well, I have a tarot coloring book, and the author of it was extremely lazy in I'm gonna do a review on this book, but they were extremely lazy in how they did this book. Now, some of the images are fine, but uh, the line work. I mean, this is good, but if I take a look at like the High Priestess and like this, and so you don't get the chance to color the pillars because they're already pre-colored. I think that I'm gonna do a coloring book design and pull out all the little detail like that and just lift that stuff out, do a tracing and pull out as much of the detail as possible, so you as the person doing the coloring can add in a lot of that detail, like these shadows and all of that. Just pull all that stuff out you want. And well, thank you. Because if I remember right, you were on the other side of the world, like in the UK, right? Because you're obviously not in the United States, because unless you work graveyard, there's no one going to bed. Graveyard or swing, there's yeah, yeah. So there's Jackie's Crystal Moon is a tarot channel that is in Ireland, and then there's a Tea and Tarot, which is in Germany, but the guy who does Tea and Tarot is a native born Englishman, and the guy is a playwright. He's a playwright. Of course, Tea and Tarot doesn't know that I'm um, talking about his channel. He's seen my channel like once, but oh, okay. You're doing a food channel, yeah, yeah. My dog is comes in occasionally. Um, Dog doesn't really like. It's hard to capture dogs on camera. They don't really like being um, being photographed. I mean, Pee Wee doesn't like to be photographed, and so I kind of I do Pee Wee, but oftentimes I don't, because I know that Pee Wee doesn't like to be photographed. Let's just take some of this down here like that. Oh, thank you. Just working on the edges. I'm going to be working on it again tonight. I'm trying to get the whole thing done today. I don't know if that's going to be possible. Actually, I don't think it's going to be possible. But let's take this sandbar and just kind of bring it more over to the edge here. So what kind of food do you have on your channel? Let's get that edge down. I wonder who that's calling now. Probably my sister again. Oh, I don't really know about that. I don't think that I'm that great of a poet. I think I'm a mediocre poet. It's hard to be really great at something when you don't really practice it all the time. I'm going to put this over here, over the edge, and you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll read a poem for you guys. Well, one that's appropriate. I'll find an appropriate poem. Sorry, a phone call came in for me, so can shut the door, Mom. And so yeah.
Is this the phone call that came in?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I will. Sorry about that. I had to make a phone call for a second. I don't have one of those little signs that says I'm on air. Please do not disturb. So I need to get one of those. Maybe just lock my door so you're not coming in. 222. Yeah, I see angel numbers all the time. So let's see if I can find an appropriate. Yeah, okay. This one, I think this poem here is appropriate here. It is Conclusions. People get ugly when there's more to it. Raymond Carver reciting his eulogy, the tears I wept, his face bloodied. I recall my fear, dancers well with joy, my face, this witness I spent months helping. I never expected change, cleanse, engaged. We'll do it again. That's a cross out poem. Let's try this one over here. I think it's okay because this has a lot of risque poems in it. And so I'll read another poem here. Someday this war is going to end, but not for me. I fight a battle that will not soon end, if at all. The things I have done may be forgiven by a God, but not for me. Every day is the same. The bugle calls the dawn. I crack open my eyes, and the blood of my enemy has stained my hands in the night. There is caked mucus under my nails. I scrub with steel wool. I cannot get clean. In a shattered room, I weep for myself. I see no future. I see only the past. It haunts the rhythm of my heart. Even though I have returned home to a world of security, I still recount my invasion. Quiet moments scream bolts of guilt. In thundering storms, I will never be free till the last breath escapes my bluing lips. All right, well, that was kind of dark. But those are a couple poems. Oh yeah. It must be because I I think that was a partial. I don't know. Yeah, I need to put some more color in here. Some sparklers on the surface. Sparklers, as what's his face would say. Oh, Bob Ross. Bob Ross. Yeah. Maybe I'll take some of this. Oh, it's already drying out already. Hmm. I hate wasting paint like that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, when I was like choosing channel names, what, like 3 years ago, I really wanted like 777, but all the channels that had 777 in them were like super Christian channels, and I didn't want well, they were already used up, so I went with 999. I mean, the most common angel number that I see all the time is like 111, and I've been seeing it for years. And I'm gonna put this down in here and let that color get dried out too. I don't have very much of this Titan buff left, but I'm gonna probably have to replace that soon too. This Titan buff is like a color that. Thank you, man. I'm just working on this. I'm working on manipulating the colors in that painting from last night, getting ready for tonight. Getting ready for tonight's 909 show, so that we can get the foreground down, so I can put the foreground in place. Yeah. So yeah, I would love to have it be 777, but that's right. I just didn't want any associations with evangelical Christianity, and that's all. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the two funerals that I went to this last week that were in evangelical churches, but just I don't want, but I really, but I will say that I don't particularly care much for evangelicalism. But that just might be that I'm just too much of a. Yeah. You know what? It's like that. that happens to me too, Sunshine. I get those 555s a lot, and I have this my own obsessiveness, and I start writing those numbers down. But when I see the 555, I stop trying to pay attention to the numbers at all, and I think, oh shoot, what kind of bad thing is gonna happen now? Yeah. So this stage of the painting is not that terribly exciting because it's like just a lot of it's a lot of thin layers and just a thin layers, and which is probably why I spent almost 2 hours off camera working on it. And I'm gonna probably cut this off in like 15 minutes so I can make that phone call, and then yeah, I understand that, but that's not where my mind goes. My mind goes to um like one of those times that I was in one of those 555999 zones, and I was out, and everything seemed new. It seemed like I got shifted. I don't know. It's weird. It was like I went out to the shop, and it was like it was the very first time I was seeing that shop, but at the same time, yeah, I'm talking about numerology, but I'm also talking about the practical application, or how that seems to be actually woven into your life if you pay attention to that kind of stuff. And I'm superstitious, and superstitious is all get out, and kind of that, and I don't know. Anyways, that was my experience. I've had that just seem everything just seemed brand new, like it was the first time seeing it, but then there was this overlay of a memory of everything. It's just really bizarre experience. It was like last year. Hmm. Hi, hi, Thomas. Welcome, Thomas. Yeah. Well, I mean, I get that skeptic's point of view too, Demon Den. I see stuff like that. Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that. I don't know that I'm really superstitious too, but I kind of am. I kind of am. I remember I used to work at this door and window place. I was the only office person at this door and window place, and um, I supported the sales staff, and then I also reported directly to the business owner, and I worked right underneath an accountant, and but I also did other things like help the delivery drivers out, and because it was a small business, and so and the uh, the manager wanted me to do something underneath a ladder, and I said no. I'm not going to stand under any damn ladder because that's like 7 years of bad luck. So you're not going to get me. Then he was like trying to prove a point that that it was really silly for me to not want to stand underneath a ladder or whatever. And but maybe it wasn't because that guy ended up yeah, yeah. And so I guess maybe because then that manager ended up getting fired for because he fell off the wagon and started drinking again, and next thing we know in he's in work release jail. It's like that, and that was maybe going underneath that ladder and him going in and marrying that woman from Japan for money was it was the it was part of his downfall. Go marry someone for money that you didn't even really like because she was making like 150,000 American dollars for what fight I think it was Pfizer Corporation. She was a nice lady too. Hmm. No, actually, I'm creating out of my imagination, but I do have some photographic. I have some photos that I'm using as a reference. So I have this is North Shore. This is North Shore on Oahu, and this is one of. I'm gonna paint this tree in the foreground. I'm kind of looking at the ocean and kind of doing some things. No, you're right. Standing under a ladder is not a smart thing. This is an earlier painting that I did. Like I did this in August, very kind of similar to this, to sunset. I also have another photo that I'm sitting here. This is also Hawaii. Um, I took this picture in 2018. The last time I actually went anywhere. So it's kind of useful, but I don't really remember why it was he wanted me to crawl under the ladder. I just wasn't gonna do it. That's all. Just plain was not having any of that. Wasn't gonna do anything that involved standing under any damn ladder. And I think I was somebody was on top of the ladder, and I was trying to. I don't really remember. I think I was getting something. They needed something that was on the other side of that ladder, and I just refused to get it. Just flat refused. I'm just gonna do. Yeah, it's really nice there. I mean, but you have places that you can go to on the Mediterranean and other parts of the ocean where yeah, and so where you so for us in the United States, if you don't have a passport, Hawaii is the only place you can go to, well, other than like Florida in the Gulf Coast and in those areas that you can go to and get tropical or subtropical water in a subtropical experience. Actually, there's one other island you can go to. You can go to Puerto Rico, and you can go to Guam, and but those are that you can travel without a passport. And so I don't have a passport my passport was expired years ago because I went to Israel in '95, and that was the last time I had a passport, and it expired. It was supposed to be, anyways. It expired. It expired in 2005, so I haven't had a passport in a long time. But anyways, my paint's getting kind of gloopy here, and so yeah, yeah, that's right. And so yeah, and so like where I live, the water fluctuates between like 40 degrees and like 60 degrees depending on it's usually between like 45 and 55 degrees the ocean water is, and it's just permanently cold all the time. And but yeah, anyways, I think what I'm going to do here is, all right, well, um kitchen food and drink, you have a great night. I'm going to be back on at 9:09 my time, probably for 2 hours only, and I'm going to give this 2 hours, and then it's probably going to be probably like two more painting sessions, and I'm going to work on this off camera too some more today. But I need to go call my friend in Minneapolis, and maybe I'll read one more poem. I'll read one more poem for everybody, and then I'm going to call it. Uh, okay, this let's read. This poem here is actually on my channel. I did this one Independence Day, and it's in my playlist channel favorites because it's my favorite. There's three poems there, and I think what I'll do is when I get offline, I'm gonna link the in the description. I'm gonna link the video of this poem in the description box so you can see how I did the video poem. But I'm gonna read this one here. Yeah. All right. So this is titled "Monsters Have Blue Eyes." "Are you okay?" he asked. I looked away, haunted. A meaningless count of numbers jumbled inside my head. If I entomb the memory under a litany of fractions, sometimes it dulls the pain. A pale sunshine shuddering the fragment into a moment. Music boiled and foamed. The trailer park reminds me. Faces contort like sun-stained mushrooms. Guilt crests my brow. I imagined callous hands and the crust of frost clambering between legs. Childlike, not knowing what to do, I collapsed. I spend hours kneeling down on the floor, shuffling through scraps of paper. I uncovered dozens of books on how to breathe. I saw a bird seated on a tree alone. He had blue eyes. 9/10, 7/4, 1/3, 1. There are ways I keep falling, I answered. I am not here. Let's do another one. Here's this one. I think this was a title piece for a... Well, there went my light. Anyway, so that means I'm just about done here. Antiphotonic illumination. Is this the before where sin and salvation hadn't been conceived, and innocent babies wait their turn to be born into a purgatory of gloom, where anti-brilliant beings clothed in blood and flesh sing without stopping, a din that trumpets through barriers, a runaway train, highballs, a flash of fire, mapping the path from flame to pain in a war of unspoken laws, like Nazis marching on Poland, where their guns are not as brutal as the broomsticks they combat. Brittles camouflage the phallic end, longing for a better life, beholden to money and painted women who carefully arranged love letters and sharp tin cans in a dead man's shoes, like a blind man identifying a dead child in a cosmos where someone is watching and God doesn't look like anyone that you know. One more. Bitter medicine. The doctor told it like it was. Kill the stars with kaleidoscopic tridents, lest the rays make prisms in the deep, dark water of the abyss. All right, that's enough for tonight. This is what we came up with. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, and I think it's starting to get some better shape there. Starting to look like it could be almost real. I'm going to work on it for probably another hour off camera, and then I'm going to come back on at 9 o'clock tonight. And that's it. So if you're watching this on the replay, those are the buttons you need to push. And this is it for this time. Bye-bye, and thank you very much, Karen, and sun-dry food and drink, and Dream Aden. And there was someone else who came in too. Oh, that was a travel sibling. And Tarot Your Way. And who? There was one other person came in. I wanted to thank. I'll come down the list. Maybe that was it. Burkay and Crazy Enders. All right. Bye-bye.